Hello everyone. So I hope you all are good. Myself Shivi Bajpayee and I make videos of ICSE class 9th and 10th. Sorry, I make videos of English for ICSE class 9th and 10th. I teach the poetry and the story section from the book Treasure Trove. So it's been a long time I have not made any video on YouTube. So today I've decided to make a video on the poem Television for the session 2021 and 2022 students. So today I'll teach you this poem Television. I have decided to teach this poem in two parts as this is quite a long poem. So I'll teach this poem I'll teach you this poem in two parts. Okay, so let's get started. Television. It's written by Roald Dahl. Television, the box television everyone has in their house. It is in this poem, the poet has shown that how this television is harmful for your kids, for the small children. He says that you should not allow them to watch television, not for just less hours. You should not allow them to watch television, but you should just not install that idiotic thing at all. Okay. The most important thing we have learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set, or better still, just don't install the idiotic thing at all. He says that the poet says that he has learned the most important thing is that to never allow your child to watch television, as it has very, but here he doesn't tell the disadvantages of television. He just says that don't install television as it is harmful for your children. And he considers television to be an idiotic box, means to be an idiot. In almost every house we have watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slop and lounge about and stare until their eyes pop out. He says that in every house I have seen them watching television for longer hours, and they just watch television. They loll and slop around and watch television for longer hours. And they stare at it until their eyes pop out. Means in reality eyes can't pop out. Means he just says that they used to stare at it in such a way that seems that their eyes can pop out. And they are so much indulged in watching television that they do not listen to anyone. They only want to watch television. And now he says that he gives an example. In reality it cannot happen, but he gives an example to make the readers understand the poem in a more better way. He says, last week in someone's place we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. Last week in someone's place we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. It doesn't mean that eyeballs were eyeballs were lying down on the floor. It doesn't mean that. It means that there were many children who were continuously watching television for longer hours. He says, they sit and stare and stare and sit. They sit, they stare at the television, and they again stare at it and stare, and they continuously sit and stare at it until they are hypnotized by it, until they are absolutely drunk with all that shocking, ghastly junk. Oh yes, we know it keeps them still. He says that they used to watch television for they are hypnotized by it. Means television hypnotizes them. They do not listen to anyone. They keep on watching television for longer hours, and they are so hypnotized by it. They are absolutely drunk that they their mind stops working. Okay. So he says, oh, oh yes, we know it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved dot? He says that, I know that television keeps them still. They do not climb out of the windowsill. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. They leave you free to do your household work or office work, any work. But have you ever thought that how this television impacts your child's, how this television impacts your child's mental health, how it is harmful for your child's mental health? Beloved dot means child. It rots the sense in the head, it kills the imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind, it makes a child so dull and blind he can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairy tale. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. He says that now the lines which are written in bold letters, you have to mug up these lines as you can quote them in your answers. So these lines are, it rots the sense in the head, it kills the imagination dead, it clogs and clutters of the mind, means it rots the sense in the head, it destroys your thinking power, your memory, everything, means you can say that it destroys your mental health. It kills your imagination power. It blocks and fill your mind with bad things. It makes a child so dull and blind he can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairy tale. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. He cannot even think, he only sees. Alright, you'll cry. Alright, you'll say, but if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? I know, you people will say that if we take the set away, if we take the television set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? So, will please explain. The poet is rhetorically he's asking the readers, but he's answering himself. It's a rhetorical question, you can say. But if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? Please explain. We'll answer this by asking you. What says that I'll answer this by asking you. What used the darling ones to do? How used they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented. Have you forgotten? Don't you know? We'll say it very loud and slow. Means he asked that, tell me, what used the darling ones do when this monster was not invented? How used they keep themselves busy? The, they also used to do something, as now children used to play on mobiles and watch television. The children in that era also used to do something to in their spare time. They used to read. They had read and read and read and read, and then proceed to read some more. He says that they used to read and read and read, and then proceed to read some more. They used to read the books. They used to read many books. They were involved in such activities that, like the reading books, by which they can gain knowledge, experience. And by watching television, only what happens is that your mind gets clogged and cluttered up. You cannot think more. What you see, only you can think that. Your creativity, your skill of thinking, everything use. Okay, so part 1 is done. I'll soon make a video on part 2, and this poem will be completed. Then I'll try to complete other poems. Thank you so much, and bye bye. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay safe.